Asus sent me their ROG Claymore. It's the mechanical gaming keyboard with a few interesting features, namely the ability to remove the number pad and put it on the left hand side or completely remove it. There's a few other interesting features. Obviously it uses Cherry MX RGB switches, so whether that's browns, reds, blues or anything else, I believe you can pick. You also have N-key rollover, 1000Hz polling rate, a removable USB cable, and also each piece comes in its own very nice bag. If you bought the Claymore core, you'll get just the keyboard that's on the left here, and obviously if you buy the actual Claymore itself, then you'll get both the keyboard and the number pad. They use a fairly proprietary connection, so I don't know if you'll ever see any sort of Claymore accessories other than from Asus themselves. And to show you the actual connection method, if you remove the cover that covers both the left and the right connections, you'll see the sort of gold fingers that connect to the number pad. On the number pad, you do also have this very nice metal scroll wheel at the top for volume, and you can also push it down to act as a switch. It has its own foot to keep itself up, and when you remove the cover on one of the sides, you can see these sort of springy leg type connections that will connect onto the keyboard's fingers that are in there, and as I said, that's also Cherry MX switches, which is quite nice. To connect the two together, it's a very simple process. Just remove the covers on both pieces and then drop the number pad onto the connection you want. Now for me, this is quite a not flimsy but not secure method of connection. It'd be really nice to see some sort of locking mechanism or something that just holds it in place a little bit tighter than the tension that you currently get from those sort of springy fingers on the number pad. Otherwise, on the bottom of the keyboard you do have a micro USB port for that removable cable, and a very stylish cable management thing. It's on the bottom of the keyboard, so this is a nice bit of effort that's gone into it. As said, this is Cherry MX switches. In this case it's Cherry MX browns, although I do believe you can get both I believe blue and reds here. You also have ninja printing on the keycaps, so that you can see the extra things that you can do when you press the FN key. So the arrow keys are used for lighting. I believe if you have an Asus motherboard you can do stuff with overclocking and fan profiles and that sort of thing, but if you use the numbers 1 to 5 plus the FN key, you can change the profile on the fly. And also FN and Windows key will lock the PC as well. I think there's a few other things. As I said, the arrow keys also do lighting and that sort of thing, and on the top on the F keys you have some media playback as well, which is quite nice. Otherwise, the keyboard itself does actually look very nice. It's a sort of brushed aluminium type thing. It's actually quite light for what I expected, although it does have lots of lighting elements, as you can see here. Now the software, which I'll speak about in just a second, is quite nice. It does allow you to control a lot of these features, and as I said, I'll show you that in a second, but the overall typing experience to me is actually really nice. There's nothing wrong with the keyboard in any sense. For me, the Cherry MX browns are really great types of key switches. They're my personal favourite, so I suppose an inherent bias there, but there is certainly nothing wrong with the actual typing experience or gaming experience. The ROG Army software is what you use to control all of this, and it is actually quite nice. You can do multiple functions in the custom effects for lighting, and you can remap any key you want to anything you like. If you move the number pad to the left hand side, I expect that you could use that as a sort of macro launch pad or something like that, so it's quite an interesting functionality to have. You can also record macros on the fly as well and customize them there. You can also do key logging stats if you want to see how much your W, A, S and D keys are pressed and that sort of thing, as well as your keystrokes. The keyboard I'm testing uses Cherry MX brown key switches. These are my personal favourites. I have them in my Coolmaster Master Keys Pro L, which is my daily driver keyboard, and they're just my overall personal favorites. So there is sort of slight bias here in that the key switches themselves are already my favorites, so I can't really complain too much about that. Although they do also offer it in Cherry MX reds and I believe blues as well, so check with your reseller or whoever you're buying it from to make sure you know exactly what type of key switch they're using. In terms of typing experience, I did quite enjoy typing on it. It's a perfect height, unlike the, I think it was Razer Black Widow Chroma X, which is just a little bit too steep for a comfortable typing position, but this one is perfect even with the feet down or feet up. It's also nice that you have the functionality to be able to move the keypad around as a point, I guess, because if you have it on the right hand side it's probably going to be just a normal keypad, whereas if you have it on the left you can use the Armory software to remap any of the keys, especially any of the keys on the number pad. to be anything you want. That's kind of why they don't have any macro keys. I think it'd be nice to see an edition where you get a small block of actual macro keys as opposed to just having to move the number pad. But it is quite cool that you can move the number pad to the other side and then use it as just a full macro keypad, I guess. The interesting thing for me to think about is that this is a pretty expensive keyboard. At the time of filming, it's around about £200 for the keyboard plus number pad. I think it's £150 just for the core version, so just the keyboard itself without the numpad, which values the actual number pad at about £50, which is quite expensive for a number pad, but I'd be interested to hear what you think of that price in the comments down below. But just to give you context to that price, the Cooler Master Master Keys Pro L, which is also an RGB, also a fully reprogrammable. This one has limited software, but that can be a bonus or a negative depending on what you fancy. It's also Cherry MX Browns. It's also built very nicely, it's great to type on, all that sort of stuff, has a removable micro USB cable, all that sort of stuff. Basically the same thing, just minus the movable keypad functionality, is literally half the price. This keyboard right now is £99. The Claymore is £199. So is that sort of option of being able to move the keypad to either side or just completely remove it, is that something, that functionality, something that you would pay literally double for? I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. I think in terms of scoring, I'm going to go for a 2.5 value for money. For me, it just isn't to be double the price, even 1.5 times the price just for the core keyboard itself. I think that's just a very expensive feature there. As I said, I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. In terms of performance though, I'm going to go with a 5. Functionality, I'm going to go with a 4.5. I think in terms of styling, I really do like the look of it, so I'm going to go with a 5. And a TechteamGB score of, I think, a 4. It's a very interesting keyboard, and I think if the price was lower, I'd be happy to give it a Gold award. I think it'll probably get the Gamer Approved award just because it's still a great keyboard for gamers, especially because you can move it to the other side and remap all the keys to have it as plenty of macros to your heart's desire. But just that price really does kind of bring the overall score and thought down. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I'd love to hear yours. As I said, is it that the movable keyboard functionality that you would actually pay for, literally double an almost identical keyboard, or not? Let me know in the comments down below. If you want to pick this up, I've left links to Overclockers UK and Worldwide Amazon link in the description down below. Feel free to use those if you want to pick them up or just check the prices or anything like that. I've also left links to Overclockers UK and Amazon in the description down below, so if you're buying anything else and you want to support me and the channel and these sorts of videos, please do use those. Otherwise, don't forget to subscribe, like, obviously, as I said, let me know what you think of it in the comments down below. And yeah, other than that, don't forget to check out some of the other videos. I'll leave a couple playlists and videos over here. Of course, I'll handily leave the subscribe button over this side for you. And yeah, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you all in the next video.